Good morning and welcome back to our channel. Today we are in Valencia, Spain.
Lovely place.
It is a lovely place, and in today's video we're going to go over some of the top things that you should see and do when you're in Valencia. So let's get going. Valencia is the third largest city in Spain, and there is just a lot of things you can see and do here. One of the things that most travel channels will warn you about, especially as an older traveler, is to be careful in bigger cities for potential crime, pickpockets and so forth, and to don't look like a tourist. But here in Valencia, it's impossible to not look like a tourist because everybody is a tourist. Have you noticed that, Tanya?
I mean, there are so many. I'm really surprised.
There are so many. Everybody is a tourist, but it's okay. Because in that case, I doubt other tourists are going to rob you.
Yeah.
And there's.
That's a good one, Jay.
Yeah. Tanya sometimes isn't sure of some of my conclusions. One of the sites you should see is La Loña de la Seda de Valencia. And this is, of course, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which Tanya and I just love going to.
Love them.
I'm sorry?
Love them.
Tanya loves them. And here it is. It was built between 1482 and 1533, and it's actually a group of buildings, but it's dominated by this tower. And it was originally used for trading in silk, and it was the silk exchange. And the UNESCO site says it's a masterpiece of late Gothic architecture, and it illustrates the power and wealth of a major Mediterranean mercantile city in the 15th and 16th centuries, which of course Valencia was. There is a long line right now to get in, and so I don't think we're going to go in right this minute, but this is one of the things you should come and see. And as you can see, there are tons of tourists here with their guides. This is the back of that silk trading center, and it's so, it's just incredible. It's a monument to money. There is right next to it is another one of the buildings that's part of the complex. It's the Concejalía de Comercio y Abastecimiento.
Well said.
Oh, thank you. I know it's incorrect, but and it's more of that. And behind it, another thing you must visit when you come to Valencia is the Mercado Central, and we're going to go in there in just a second. The Mercado is 88,000 square feet, Tanya, and one of the largest in Europe. So we're going to go.
It's beautiful. Look at all the tile.
It's beautiful. We're going to go in there and see what we can find. One of the things about these mercados throughout Asia and throughout the world is that they are so ornate. It's just amazing. So we've been, for example, in Budapest. There was just the famous one there. That's just an amazing market, and it's just a place where people go and congregate. And of course, here are street performers. Here's a guy. How does he do it? Of course, he's balancing on a globe, and he can do this for hours. Amazing. things we've noticed more and more on this trip to Spain is the use of cards in lieu of cash. Now, of course, cards have been used in Europe for a long, long time, but so many times now we've been in places that they will not accept cash. It is only cards. And so, for example, even in this case here, where it's a public restroom, which is €1, and in the past there would either be somebody collecting it or you put it into a little slot, and then the turnstile would open. Now it's card only, and you scan your contactless card in front of a little window, and turnstile opens, and there you go. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that you don't really need to carry very much cash with you when you're traveling around, and that's kind of a good thing. Another thing that you have to do when you're in Valencia, or for that matter in any other major Spanish city, is to stop for tapas. And there are tapas places all over the place. These are little snacks, croquettes, little pieces of things, and people just love to eat them and enjoy them while they're having a little something to drink. Here's a woman here who's about ready to get married, I think. Her name is Frida. Says so on her tiara. You can get little calamaris or octopus, little things like that, all sorts of little snacks. But tapas in Valencia are something you should really get. I can't really tell you why they would be any different here than anywhere else, but I'm sure anyone watching this, let me know in the comments below if Valencia is noted for any particular type of tapas. Sure would appreciate that. Another thing you might consider when visiting Valencia is to rent a bike and ride around the city. Now, for our older travelers, I don't know that I would recommend that. And
unless you're an experienced
biker, yeah, and you feel comfortable going around people and riding on cobblestone streets. And some of the plazas and squares and even the sidewalks here in Valencia are this kind of polished marble. They're very flat, so don't worry about that. But when it rains, it can be tricky. But you could get, for example here, this particular place, you can get an e-kick scooter from €5. I assume that's per hour. Bicycle from €4 an hour. So if you feel comfortable in riding your bicycle around a Spanish city and braving the crowds, then it could be a thing to do. Another place you definitely should visit, and should every other tourist who comes to Valencia, is the Valencia Cathedral. It's hard to miss. It is a massive structure, and really it's very pretty in the center square. Another thing to do in Valencia, and it's something that Tanya and I always do when we're in a new town, is wander around aimlessly. And it's never failed us yet. And every town has its own little charm, and buildings, that we see that we have no idea what they are. And so we're not even going to try to give you useless information that you'll never remember, and we'd have to research to find out. And by the time when you're 75 years old, you kind of forget what it was you were doing in the first place. But we can remember that we're going down a beautiful street, seeing beer trucks. Okay, it's a civilized thing. It's Cruz Campo, which became one of Tanya's best friends about 40 years ago. But now she's reformed. She's moved on to other things, like Chardonnay, of any type. Okay, and there's beautiful trees. So we're just going to keep my trap shut, and you're going to see a little bit of beautiful Valencia. Tanya just made a very interesting observation.
Oh, yeah. There are more ham stores than there are pharmacies.
More ham stores than pharmacies, because that does make sense, because, you know, what do you really need? Drugs or ham? You know, as long as you got lots of ham, you don't need any medicine for anything. You know, this is the land of ham. Another thing you must do when you're in Valencia, especially if you've been traveling for a while, is go to the self-service laundry. There are several of them around town, and we just have happened to find one right here, and Tanya is in there completing our task. So there it is, another thing that you must do when you come to Valencia. See if you can find a babe like this to help you with your laundry. Here's something I just ran across. It's psychotherapy in English here in Valencia. So in English, that would be very helpful, I would think, if you weren't a Spanish speaker. One of the things that almost every YouTube channel that you see that talks about things to do and see in Valencia includes the City of Arts and Sciences. And so we're going to include that as well. This is kind of this futuristic looking building that is the beginning of this area, and this is all along the area where a lot of the river used to run, but they filled it in and changed it because it was continually flooding the city of Valencia. So we're going to go up here and see what this is about, but it is a beautiful area. And if you are here staying, as a lot of tourists do, in the old town area, you know, where the cathedral is and all the shopping is, it's only about a half-hour walk, and very flat and actually very scenic as you're on your way over here. So let's go check it out, Tanya, and see what we can find.
Let's go.
What we have discovered is that this beautiful building is in fact not a museum. It is the Opera House. Well, I should have figured that out, because in a way it looks a little bit similar to Sydney and their opera house, but it is just beautiful. And they do offer tours in English, but unfortunately we just missed the time for it, so we're not able to see that. So the opera house is called the Palau de las Arts, and every one of these buildings in this City of Arts and Sciences is named. And over here we're going to be looking at pretty soon the Hemisfero, I believe it's called. And as I mentioned before, one way to see all this is on a bicycle. And you can see here are some happy cyclists. They are just enjoying themselves. Well, we're going to head over to it's called Hemispheric. And it's one of the several buildings there. You know, what's really cool is that of all these fountains, little ponds, man-made ponds surrounding, they use it for things. So here's a couple out here in a little plastic bottom see-through transparent boat. You could use one of these bubbles to tumble yourself around. I see some people out over here in electric surfboards. So it looks like the Hemispheric is closed right now for visitors inside. Tanya, we're going to head over here to the Museum of Sciences. It looks like they're open, and see what's going on. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but
Let's find out.
Let's find out. It is a massive structure. This entire area is just incredible.
Oh, and it has a mock-up of one of the...
Yes, Tanya? What were you going to say?
Some space station, or not space station, but there's some sort of... Okay, forget that one.
Okay, well... Well, that was pretty painless, getting our tickets, and apparently what the Hemispheric is, it's an IMAX theater. So they have different shows going on at different times. I think we'll skip that. But here in the Science Museum, Tanya, did you want to go take a look and see what you see on different places here?
Well, she said go down this way and go right.
Go down here and go right. That's what we're going to do. But this is, you can see what it would be like if you come here. There is, of course, a senior discount for our older viewers. who are more like us. They had a space simulator here, and we were talking about asking, is that something that we should do? She said it's more for little children. So we thought, well, okay, we're young at heart, but I guess space is not for us today. Well, we're just sitting down after spending about 2 hours going through the Science Museum, and it is really a worthwhile thing to do when you come here, especially if you're with a family or if you have grandchildren or something like that. There are an awful lot of interactive exhibits that are especially designed for kids, and a lot of them for adults too. So it covers a wide range of science and bioscience, and it's something that put down on your list of the things to do when coming to Valencia. We are in the final highlight of the City of Arts and Sciences. We're in the Oceanographic Centre, or aquarium. This is a huge facility and one of the largest, if not the largest, aquarium in Europe. So we're really excited about taking a look to see what's going on here. If you're coming here, be sure to get your tickets online ahead of time. Not that we had any big line today, but you can easily then get your senior discount, which is about 10 euros per person cheaper. So instead of the normal 36 euros a person, it's a little spendy, but still cheaper than the Monterey Aquarium. 26 euros 50 for seniors. So that wasn't that bad of a deal. So we're going to take a look around, see how many sharks we can see and other marine life, and see what some of the highlights of this aquarium are. Okay, another thing you should do when visiting Valencia is, of course, enjoy the food. And here is a tip for you. I know a lot of people always talk about it, but it's so easy to forget. When you're having lunch, go for the menu of the day. Instead of ordering individual items off the menu, which, in many cases here will cost, maybe 11, 12, maybe 13 euros each. If you go on the menu of the day, what we had here was the two-plate, two-item menu, and we get 2 items here, and it's 13 euros 90 cents each. So it's a much better deal. And so here is our first course, which is, we're both having the same thing. It's a salad. Then we ordered a hamburger for the other one. Now you could have more exotic kinds of things, but I was just going with things that I could read and understand. And so there you go. Tip of the day. Back wandering the streets of Valencia, one of the things that you should probably go see when you're here is the Ceramic Museum. Now, it doesn't sound like that would be terribly exciting, but just take a look at this building. I mean, it looks like a piece of ceramic itself. It's
Look
just
at the shutters.
the shutters. Yeah, and all this gingerbread, rococo stuff, this decoration outside. It's just It's really amazing, and we're going to go in and see what's going on. Well, we've just finished our visit to the Ceramic Museum.
And Tanya is a happy girl.
Tanya is very happy. What this is it's the palace or former home of a very rich family, and so you know, the museum is just, it's full of lots of different ceramics that were made in Dresden, Italy, China, and all of the gewgaws and ostentatious furnishings that people of means at that time would have. So let me just put this caveat in there. If museums are your thing and you like looking at old gewgaws, this is your place. There are many in Europe that are much grander, but you know, if you're here in Valencia and that's your cup of tea, this should be on your list.
Take it where you find it.
Take it where you find it, says Tanya. I agree.